11. It's crazy how fast this semester has gone. We're already in the last couple weeks of the semester. We're going to just be finishing up your websites over the next couple weeks. So let's go ahead and dive on in and see what's coming up. This week we do have a holiday on the 4th of July, so I went ahead and pushed all the due dates back by one day so that you could have a little bit less stressful of 4th of July. So let's go and take a look at what's coming up. As you can see right here, we've got our discussion for the home and about pages. That will be due on normally due date number 2, which would be Wednesday, but instead it's pushed back to Thursday. And then normally on due date number 3, Friday, we would have your discussion board responses and the contact page due, but I've pushed that back to Saturday. So let's go and take a look at what is coming up with those assignments. So let's go to the home and about page. So last week, you should have turned in your home page that you've coded for your website. Now this week, you'll be submitting your homepage and about pages on the discussion board so that you can look at each other's home pages and kind of discuss them, talk about them, critique each other, and help each other to refine those layouts. So right here for your assignment, you've got your home page, you've got your about page. There's a link right here for the final project requirements so you can refresh yourself on what all of these pages do require. And then there's also the style guide. Don't forget that your style guide needs to be reflecting your style choices for these pages. Just make sure you're keeping that up to date along with your PSD, which should be a downloadable link on your style guide. So if somebody wants to download your PSD and look at it, then that will match, and they can do that from your style guide page. So that's what you're going to be posting on due date number 2, which this week will be Thursday. And then let's go back and we'll look at the assignment for due date number 3, which is Saturday this week. So the contact page. So the contact page, here's your little rubric right here. Contact page with a clear purpose. It needs to have a form with submit button because obviously a contact page needs to have some way to contact you. So it needs to be visually appealing, but it doesn't need to function as far as contact. Like people don't need to be able to send you emails. If you want to go the extra mile and use your website later in the future, you can go through and make sure that it does work, but that's not going to be a requirement for this course that the email works. So it just needs to look good and that it needs to validate. So all items required for HTML just have all good basic HTML code structure, validating HTML and CSS, and then your style choices obviously reflect what is outlined in the style guide. So there's a lot of resources out there for HTML and CSS contact forms. I just recommend Googling it, and you should find tons of resources. Just make sure that it validates. Some of the code, when you get it off the internet, will not validate, so just make sure that it validates. And then just work on the CSS styling for that to make it look good. So pretty simple assignments. Just make sure that you're using your home page CSS on these other pages. It'll make your lives a lot easier if you're not coding everything multiple times. You should just be using one CSS sheet for your entire website. The only exception to that is your style guide page. That has its own separate CSS page. So all of your other pages, those 5, the home, about, contact, and 2 content pages, those should all be pulling from the exact same CSS document. Then for anything special, you'll be using classes and IDs to specify that. So that's everything that's come up this week. I will be holding my office hours at the usual time. I'll have that posted along with the announcement. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email or swing by the office hours, and I hope you have a great week. Talk to you.